the goal of what we're doing in this hour is that we're creating a first app. The app is called a to-do app. A to-do app, I put everything in a folder. Okay, and so this is the folder structure again. I just put it under assignment, and I have one app here. Okay? We're calling it an app, short for application. So far, we just have one file. When we do something more serious, multiple files in a folder. So I just call this a to-do app, and I create a to-do folder for it. That sounds reasonable? In the to-do folder, in most apps, you do have to, you are strongly recommended to write a markdown file, and it's the README file. Okay? And the first thing here, pretty much you just say what the name of the app is. So that's a header. And then down here you say, explain, this is a Ruby app that lets what? Users, right, add, remove, to-do items, also known as tasks, okay, and mark any of them as completed. So, is this app clear to you guys? In real life, you can actually turn this into a product, a startup, and then get people to, pay for your product and become successful. That is like this one over here. It's a to-do app. You can choose what day, but I'll stick on just today. And I can click on this to mark it as done. Right? I can click here and delete. Okay. So this is one list. I'll call each of this item. You can have multiple lists like this guy. This list for today. Right? So like in my inbox, I choose an empty list now. I add a few things. Have breakfast. Go to work. Right? Review item class and learn how to read from file, something like that, right? Understand readme.md. So we finished a few things here. This is marking it as done. Okay, so this is the user interface. But to build this, we need to develop the ability to plan and write some code like this. Okay, so this is my app, and I say maybe user stories. There will be an assignment later, not assignment, but a student presentation. You say, hey guys, go and read up what user story is and share with the class. But basically, user story is that these are sentences that describe what user can do, right, using your app. So, something as a user, I can do something, right? So that the long form is this, as a, I can do something, or I want to do something, so that I can something. So this is the purpose. Well, this is what I want to implement, and this is your user type. So sometimes as a teacher, as a student, as an admin, as a guest, as a logged-in user, etc. In this case, we have one type of user, the person who run our app. So it's pretty simple. I will type something like, as a user, I want to add a new to-do item. Something like that, right? As a user, and I feel like I'm typing this too much, so I may get rid of the as a user here. I want to mark an existing item as done, right? As well, sometimes not really as the user, right? My program can load items from a text file, to do items from a text file, something like that, right? The program can save what sort of changes the user makes for example, add, remove, or mark completed, right? To the file. So this last one is a little more difficult. No, it's not difficult, but I may not cover it yet. May not have time. Now I'm just adding a little markdown syntax here. It just means this is the first one here, it means a bullet, and this is a checkbox. When we finish implement this task, we will do this. Sounds good? And let's see, I'm gonna test, I'm gonna commit everything I've done here. Very quickly I add everything. You see this is add, right? This is modified M. So this file was empty and now it has something. So I'll just say quick, quick add. I did not really check everything carefully, but I'm gonna add so I can show you guys. Add to Git. We're done there. Now we want to see it on GitHub. So go there and push. Okay. So I'll go to GitHub. It's already linked to the repo. Uh-oh. It's not gonna push because Lloyd, you merge this into, it's gonna crash. Cannot push. So Lloyd, push this to master. Uh-oh. Alright. I'm gonna try to revert that. Can't revert it from here, can I? Alright. So it's okay, even TAs make mistake. Where is my bootcamp Ruby thing? Okay, this is my Git. You see the messages so far, right? Yeah? The problem is that now I have a little bit of conflict with upstream. So next time you guys create pull requests for me, so I merge it. So just to prevent this. Don't worry what I'm doing here. It's okay. I'll just force it. So I'm just taking my history here, and I'm forcing it over because the last one was update with me, which is here, and then I have a new one here that Lloyd has some changes. So it's okay. I'm not throwing his stuff away forever. He has his stuff on his Git. He can push again. Okay. So I just hope that's okay, Lloyd. You create a new branch and then do it. All right. You see my quick add is up here. And I want to show you, see how I use the README to introduce people to the project. And I go into week 1. I go into this assignment. You see assignment / to do because there's nothing else besides the to do folder. So they just give you it skips through empty directories. This is okay, right? You browse through the project. And look, the README file shows up again. Looks quite nice. And here you can actually mark things as done when you need it. Okay? So here is it's show that it's empty, but when you commit again, I will check that as it's done. So I want to do something. So maybe I move this task to the first one. Really, my program can load to-do items from a text file. That's pretty exciting. Okay, let's do that. So I create a new text file. I will create it, maybe the file's name todo.md. This is the markdown. And by now you understand this dash blah blah here. You can choose a different representation, but this is what I choose because do I have the to-do file up there? todo.md here. You see this? The screen is a bit hard to see, but it's kind of nice that my text file already looks like the thing I have down here. Almost, right? It doesn't have colors and stuff. But this is my text file. It looks like a user interface already. But I'm going to load the data from this text file into my code. So I can let the user decide what to finish and let the user decide what to add. New task. So we're going to do that with, I have a program, a main program. I'm going to call it, either you call it main.rb or todo.rb. You know, it kind of makes sense, right? You name your program, the main file of the program. Some people, if you come from languages like C, again, the old school, they name it like main. Everyone name things as main. I don't know. I like maybe naming it as to do. It's clearer to me. So we do something like this. Class to do, and this is our main program. Okay? In our main program, what is this guy is going to do? Read. The first thing I want to do is like read data from todo.md. And then create a list of to-do item. And then basically what I want to see is I want to have a bunch of these guys. It will look like this. I'm going to copy this. It will look, this is my comment, I can type whatever, right? You guys don't mind, right? There. But it will look like this. Item. In this item, I have the name attribute to be like that. A list of to-do items. So it will look like, you know, a hash, an array, right? An array that is like item, and then the second thing will be the same. Item. This is the name attribute, and you will have the done attribute too as false or true. So in this case, the second one is true, and the first one is false, and so on. Sounds reasonable, the way the logic is going. Okay? So now what do I need to do next? I need to go revisit this. This is close it like this, all right? And really ask, how do I read from a file? So Ruby is pretty fascinating. Week 1, assignment, lab. To do, right? This is the to do folder. IRB. I'm going to want to read from this file. So I call file dot read to do dot md. Are you ready? Press enter. And that's the string. Once again, you're like, holy shit, that cannot get easier than that. Can it get easier than basically just like file.read and file name? Do you guys see how it read, and then it's purple here, but you see that it read that file, and there's a new line character here. Are we good with the file.read? You guys can do this, right? Like, check this out. Learn, and learn, blah, blah. So all looks good. Imagine you need to read it and then you split them into different lines. Oh, look, it's an array of lines. It cannot get easier than that, come on, right? So if you print this, the above, it will look like exactly like that. So what is read something dot lines? It's an array of lines already. Yeah? Okay, so maybe I understand this already. So I'm going to go to my to-do app. When you run the to-do file, I will just do to-do.new, and that's it. Just call the to-do class. Like, take action. This is your main file. So this is my to-do.new. Initialize. Okay, I'll initialize. Sounds good. And then maybe, okay, I create an action here. Perform. Yeah, you actually, what's some other action that may be better? Read from file or load, right? Yeah. All right, let's go with load. So pretty much you actually start this and then you say load. Sounds good? If I run this file right now, ruby to do.rb, nothing happens because it runs this and it runs this. Both of them don't do anything. Great. So What this guy is doing is when you load, I do file dot read to do dot md. Okay? And then remember the lines method. To be honest, you don't even need that. You can split by new line. It's the same thing. Almost the same thing. I'm going to run this IRB thing one more time for you guys to see. I read from the todo.md file, file.read. If you do dot lines, you get the array, but you still get the thing at the bottom. It's the new line character. But if you do split, remember the original string? If you split by new line, this is called new line dash n, then you don't get this. So technically, I prefer splitting instead of calling lines. It's just cleaner. If you do lines, then you need to do chomp at the end of each of these strings. Right? Oh man, some of you look really sleepy already. I'm so sad. It's only 10 a.m. Right? We did the warm-up exercise, but all right. No, it looks good so far.
Yes.
So this now I can store it as lines, shouldn't I? Yeah. Oh, so when you do load, I store these into lines. All right. So for now, I will give you access to lines so we can play with it. Okay. Yeah. So I will run to do. In fact, now I'm showing you a slightly different way. I require the to-do file inside IRB. Is that okay? Require relative. You learned that yesterday with this require item here. So in IRB, I can call require to do because I'm in the same folder. But this is to do.rb, okay?
Yeah, RB is implied, I guess.
Implied.
Okay.
When you require, and it has to be a Ruby file.
Yeah.
This is not file.read.
Because we're in IRB and IRB can only read.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, if you require another file, it will just complain, right? Require to do. So now I can do to do equals to do.new, and then to do.load. Load, and now to do.lines. This is my line. Are we good? So what's the first line? Learn numbers. I need to convert this into a what? I convert this into this. Convert the line into item. Are we good with converting from line to item? We understand we need to do this. Convert this into learn numbers, and this is false. Okay? So let's try to do that. Lines.each do. Here is one line at a time. So the first line is learn numbers. That's our line. That's our string, right? This is our first line. This is exactly the string. What is the item name? It's going to be this. Don't you think? Yeah? And what character is this? 1 hyphen, but let's start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I take this line, look at this first, right? This is the one line. If you take the 7 character, it's
8.
Uh-oh.
Oh, 8.
It should be 6 because I start counting from 1, but it should count from 0, right? Right? Remember the range? If I go all the way until the last character, then you get learn numbers. Right? So technically up here, I can do item.new line from 6 to -1. Right? Sounds good? Okay, so that's one way to get the item. Then next, I need to know whether it's done or not. Line is, how do I do it, done or not?
I check the character number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Character number
3.
4? Alright, character 3.
And
If 3 is
equal to or equal to
is
0?
X, then it's done, but if not, this then it's false.
Yeah.
So then I will say maybe in this case done is a variable, temporary variable. You check whether line at the position 3 is X or not. Okay? This is one more time that we're not doing if, then, else with the true and false. I just say on the right hand side, line 3, what it says line 3 is not the third line, okay? It's the third character of the line. 1, 2, 3. And then it's checking with X. Right? So that's done. So it means if I take this as an argument, I can pass it as done here, right? So I'm passing a string and a true false. And I can create a new item. Right? Okay, but I create one, and how do I keep that item? I'm going to copy that and go down here and show you guys if I create this. Right now it doesn't work because it doesn't know what item is. So I have to revisit what I wrote yesterday. Name and done, so it should work. So I'm going to do required relative item. Okay? And I now do, remember line, just double check, right? Line 6 to -1 is learn numbers. So technically I can do line 6 to -1 and done. Hey, done is not defined yet. So I'm going to replace that with done 3 equals to X or not. Even though this line looks complicated, but give me thumbs up if you, and this if you're not sure. Right? That's thumbs up, thumbs down. So what I'm doing here is I put this directly in this line. You see, so if you look at the bottom line here, the first argument, are we clear? Are we clear? So now do you know what the first argument here is? First argument of W. Line from 6 to -1. What is that string? It's the 6th character. So if you look at this over here, from the 6th character to the last letter of the whole line, and the line we saw just now, but here's the whole line. This is the whole line. You guys see the whole line? And where is the this value? What is it? What is the string? Can you, if the line is no numbers? Yes. So line here is this, right? So we all agree on the first. Now on the second argument, it's just true or false. So what is the third character?
It's the first
of line. 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's checking whether it's X or not. So are we clear that I'm calling item.new with a string name? And the second is the done or not. So I do this now. I always have an extra thing for some reason. And you see the item looks nicely what I need. It looks like what I want. Now the challenge is to create a lot of items. Right? Okay, so this I can go back to do here. And this I have one item here. You guys can even write like one line if you like. Okay? This is a new item. But I need to remember all the items I have created. So I create another variable called item. And then I append it to items. After this loop is done, loop is, each is a loop. After it's done, the number of items I have is the same as the number of lines that I have read. And now I want to make it easy to test.
1 second. I'm still trying to follow. Why did we just do that? Why did we just put it into the array, the items array.
Yes, I'm putting it to the items array here.
Why? What would have, like, what are we missing if we don't do it?
If you don't do it, then this is gone. How can you get the items?
Oh yeah, okay, we need to store the items so that, okay.
Dot each, at the end of dot each, it will be finished,
All
right?
that it will do is it will add them.
It will create them and then you just drop them.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want this to return an item, the faster way is to use map. That is the shorter way, but some people may still not be used to this. That is the shorter way. That will work. But I'm going to use the longer way because this is create an empty item. Every time you read a line, you add to the items thing, right?
Alright, and without it wouldn't return the item. Okay.
Without it, you're not making changes to items.
Yeah.
So, of course, sometimes you see this, but my load, I could or could not, I may or may not return the list of items. I don't really care. Maybe, right? So I'll just return the list of items in this case, but it's optional, okay? Here, for example, optional, return a list of items, okay? So at this point, if you're sleepy, please stand up because just to help up a little bit, it will save you time because if you not clear this stage and you just ignore it, it may get more difficult in the next 5 minutes. We clear on how we get the items? Yes. And I add the items here so that, let's try it again. Require relative to do. It doesn't recognize item. Remember that we're using item here? So I need to do require item up top. Require relative item. Okay? So let's try again. Except this time I don't want to type that all over again. So I'll run these two guys as well. Okay? So IRB require relative to do. And now I have to do. And it looks messy, but let's train our eyes to look at this structure. To do is an object of a to-do class, so it's called an instance of the class. In there are attributes. The first attribute is lines. That's the one we're familiar with. Is one line at a time. We just split the file into different lines. The second attribute is items. And these items is what we created based on the lines. Alright? And then and that's pretty much it so far. Now, I want to store items into a list. And in the future, I want to be able to do something like this. It's a today list, is a done list, something like that. Mainly today and inbox. There are different lists, right? What if different lists, different to-do items? To do that, I may have to support something like when I create a list, I can maybe have a list name. For now, I just have the list without name. In the future, I will have a name, okay? Actually, let's just support name now. Why not, right? Alright, I have a list name. So I'm going to call the list today. Right? Today and to do. Very confusing. But in this regards, when I create a new to-do app, okay, I will call this is a list today, a list.new, and I'll just call this list today. Are we good with that? Are we good with that? And then instead of items here, I will don't need the items. I'll tell the list to be responsible to manage the items. So in each line here, I'll just say, hey list, hey today, add this item to your list. We need an add method. Okay, and that's pretty much. Then it's a lot shorter, isn't it? So yeah. Now the add method. If I ask you to implement, you go here and type the add method. It looks like that. So what I do is that I have a list class, and in this list class, I can call this .new. The first argument is the name of the list, so list. It's called, let's say, the list today, and the second is the list of items. If I don't pass anything, then the list is empty. But now every time I can add a new item to that list by calling list.add, right? I have only a today list, so it's called today.add. Does that make sense? Yeah? Does it make sense? Any question? Okay, so I have successfully loaded the items from a text file. Except to be really sure that I did it, I'm going to have to print it out. Right? To be really sure that if I can show you, hey mom, look at what I wrote. Press enter, and then it's like, I don't understand what you did, son. So I'm going to go and fix the remaining error, right? Require list, because I don't think I need to require item. Oh, I do. I do have item here. Okay, good. So, and then I run this. And, 1 second, let me turn on mode. Okay, so down here right now there's nothing, so I'm going to have to do display. Let's implement the method display. Okay, Quy, can you help me implement this method together? Display. Okay, how do we implement it? At, yeah, to do. We inside to do already. Today. Oh, sorry, I totally messed up the logic with to do and today. Okay, great. Next. Dot. Are you sure you can do each on today? Ah, okay. What? Curly, and then put item. Let's just dot name for now. Is that okay? We just do dot name. And if I do this now, look, right? It will read the file and it proves to me that it's there. If now you go into the to-do file, and you add one more thing here, let's say learn class and learn read from file, right? And then you go here and run this. It works. It works. You have the back end, and you have here is the front end, right? That's pretty neat, but I want to be able to print something like what the web is doing here. It's like these little checks, they are nice. And I want to also encourage us to structure it so it's easy to write. So here it is. The responsibility of the to-do file is reading from the file. And then when you print, you say today, right? All right, we just say today's, and then in here, you basically just say, hey, today, display yourself. Sounds good? Now, Stanley, if I call this now, do you think it will work? What happens? Yeah, if I call this, you call display on to do, and then down here it will call display on today. What is today? Today is a list. So it will go into list.rb and find the display method. Do I have a display method? No, so why didn't it crash? Oh, because I did not call display? That's weird. It should crash, guys. To do, go to display. Display is today. Today is a list, right? It should complain no method, undefined method display for object for class today, for the class list. Today is a list, right? Keep remembering that. So I'm gonna try it again. Require relative today to do. All right. So to do dot display. It's really strange. To do dot. We don't have the list here, right? Maybe it's. Do you want to change it to list so everyone find it easier to read?
Yeah.
All right. I'll call it instead of today. This happened to be like the worst. This list has the name today. That's okay, right? And this is list again. And list. Yeah? All right. Let me require this file one more time. I think it says false. It means it doesn't like to require it again. To do. And in there you have to do list. That's the list. I want to be able to call display on it. For some reason, there is a method display somewhere. As it's implemented, right? Maybe we can override it. Display. Okay. Yesterday I showed you guys we wrote this display done and not done. I'm gonna just delete that for now. Alright, display. This is say displaying list. Here's the name, right? Okay, let me keep it as that for now. Run it. You don't have name because I did not make it a readable, an attribute reader, right? Okay, let's try. Required to do. Did you guys see what I just did? So somehow there's a method display in that list somewhere. That's a bit strange. I wonder. I think there's a built-in display method. Unfortunately, so we're just overriding it because we don't need that method. So you guys see that I put it here, right? So how do you display a list? We use the same code I just wrote just now. Also, you remember yesterday we wrote that already. Easy peasy, right? Go to items.each. If the item is done, display it as the similar to what we did before. If it's not done, then display it as not done. Are we good with that? So now if I run the to-do file, okay? The to-do file now display what I read from the file. So far so good. Because now it's very clear that if someone, let's say, your program is sharing this file with your program, two files reading from the same place, and your program, Stan's program, go and actually mark this as done, and then your program will just display it again and say, oh, it's done. So this is how the interface is just displaying the information there. But different programs can write to the same backend. Okay, so right now to mark something is done, I have to go into the to-do.md file. I don't want to do that. I want to write a program that my grandma can use. And all my grandma needs to do is run it, maybe ruby.to-do, and then it asks, what task do you want to mark it as done? Then the grandma will say, learn numbers, and then it's done. If you explain to your grandma, go to the to-do.md file, open it, and then go to the line there, and go inside the bracket and mark it as X, it will not work, right? So what should we do next? Adding a new to-do task or marking something is done? What do you like?
Mark is done.
Mark is done? You think it's easier? Funny, that's harder, isn't it? When you say mark is done, you have to say which item. It's okay, let's do mark is done. So mark is.
I don't want the easy. No.
That's right. I like that. So when you display, then now you have a to-do dot prompt or ask. right? Like, what do you want to do?
Okay.
Yeah? So, is the word prompt clear enough, or should I name it to ask or prompt? Prompt is alright? A chat prompt. So, in this prompt method, I implement a prompt method. And then I say, what did what do you want to mark as done? Something like that. And then now I have to say one of these guys. Okay, so maybe my sentence will be enter the number, item number to mark as done. Are we getting the idea? So if grandma say number 0,
So
right, then I will mark low numbers.
So should we add an index to it?
Sure, that will display it easy, right? Down here, under list here, you have to display an index. So each with index, okay? And put in an index here, and then you add an index at the end here. Index plus 1 because grandma doesn't know how to count from 0. And then down in to do, I prompt enter the item you want to mark as done. And then here will be index is, I'm typing the, index is a variable. Now I say get dot, just get is fine. Get dot chomp, right? Right? So for now we say, okay, you are marking index as done. Alright, for now I'm not doing anything, but I'm just saying you're marking index as done. So I'm running to do. Look, enter the item to mark as done. And then I say number 1. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the right hand side. So number 1. And he will say, okay, I'm marking 1 is done. What would you like to see?
The list again with 1.
Thank you very much. It's exactly that. After you mark it, this is done. So we're going to mark this is done and we display this again. It gives us the satisfaction that the program works, right? It's the same as what I'm doing here that I mark as done. And then it will just display this right now. But on the screen, it's refreshed by itself. Our program is not that smart, so I have to print it again. Alright, I'm going to print it again. It means up here, we can reuse our code, and I can call display. Alright, so I say, okay, I marked, right? Index blah is done, and then you display it again. Now we do want this to change, so there is some action going on here. So I'm going to say, hey list, mark as done for me this index. Right? Maybe I'm going to call it something shorter, complete at this index. Yeah, I'm making changes, so I put an exclamation mark, but you don't have to. List complete at this exclamation mark. If I run it right now, it will say undefined method complete at. So I go to list, and I define a method called complete at. What's the argument? Index. And what is that item, current item that I want? I have a list of items, so I just pass in the index. However, grandma counts from 1. So I'm gonna take it easy, grandma. I'm gonna reduce it by 1 first, right? Or maybe you feel like it's confusing, so you do it from here. So you're gonna call this like grandma index. Sometimes I'm so careful. I don't want to read this code 10 years later and hate myself that I'm confused. So I take grandma index and -1. So over here I still have computer index. It's good. Now I am going to do item dot done is true. Right? This is the lazy way. Of course, I could do the where's my item file? Item file here. Can I do done is true? I can. Remember, you can do the complete thing, okay? But now, okay, items done is true. I'll do the lazy one here. Alright? Items done is true. So technically, 2 lines, you can combine into 1. How does that look? It looks reasonable. I think the code is still just like English. And I explained that none is true because this work, you have this method. None equals true. Right? No one fixed me. Come on. You guys are too sleepy. Right? Item. The first one is item. The second is not done. Okay? Let's trace back to where we were. That's in the prop file, prop method, and in here complete at. It goes to complete at here. Okay, looks good. And let's run it. This grandma say, uh-oh, there's one problem.
Undefined method.
Why? Lloyd, can you help? Alright, so how do you fix this?
Say two ints.
How do you type it? 2 int?
Grandma index 2.2 int.
2
2_i.
2i, then just say 2i. Alright, so it's always a string what the grammar gives you. But I know it's a number.
Yeah. So anytime you ask a user for input, it's always
a string. But if you want to convert it to a number, an array you have to split. A number you have to do 2i. A hash you have to do it different. A class like item you have to do more work.
What does like a word changed to an integer? What is it gonna change to? Like if she didn't enter 1, if she entered
Then it turns to
rows
0.
down 1, 0. Okay.
Yep. 0. Run this. Alright, learn 1. Dude!
Nice.
I have a to-do list that I can just finish what I need to do. I think this is good enough to motivate me to complete what I need to do during my day. Except it sucks that every time I have to press up and press enter again. Yes, you have a question? Alright. So, I want this program. Maybe you see this prompt. You want to keep repeating it. So maybe I can say, hey man, 10 times dot do this prompt 10 times. Alright, so I can test it. Alright, so I mark the first one is done. And then I mark the fourth one is done. Oh, why is it not done? Oh yeah, it is. The fifth one is done. The sixth one is done. You see how my program is working nicely? Well, oops, I finished everything and I cannot get out. I'll finish running it 10 times. Yeah? So the program is like, this is the to-do app. You can buy it, and after you buy it, you can use it. And when you use it, just use it 10 times. Right? Well, if you pay, however, you can do better. So instead of, when the grandma says something here, the grandma index is exit. Or grandma says 0 or something, up to you, okay? If grandma say this, then you're gonna return, forget it, right? Get out, okay? So if grandma is exit, then I return false. And then if not, I will do things and so if grandma say good, if grandma say exit, then you say goodbye. If not, then you say, hey, I did that. Are we good with the prompt? Okay. So prompt now returns false only if the user say exit.
Why do we need to return false?
Well, I want to return something because the guy that control prompt, the guy that called prompt many times is outside. It's not inside. Prompt is only prompting once. So I'm going to return exit. Okay. Anything else when you display return something else, I don't care. But you see, why do I need to return prompt? Here. If prompt is exit, then I want to get out. You see what I'm saying? So let's say you can break out of the loop, but if not, it can keep going. Right? Okay, so run that. to do thing. You see, now I can mark the first one is done. Or I can go and exit and get out. Goodbye. Except this deal only run for 10 times because it's a trial error. I know what's that? So it's a trial period, right? This, if you want this to work, you have to pay. Here's the license fee, 99 cents per day. Okay, then you can remove this app. You can release a new app that is better. You call this loop do. It will repeat forever. It repeat forever until you type exit. And now your grandma will get to have this program where you can mark anything as this, right? And please, maybe now it's embarrassing if grandma cannot say, hey, mark something as not done. You know? So you can implement that right here. Now here, no longer grandma index anymore. You have to deal with like grandma is the grandma adding an item? Is the grandma removing an item? Right? Is the grandma marking something is done or not? But that's okay, because we start to understand how things work now. It's the control flow. So you have list.complete app. Next time you can have like list.mark as undone or undo app. I don't know. Yeah, like here we have a lot of, this is, what if grandma will say, oops, I did not have breakfast. I only fed my children breakfast, but I did not have breakfast. So I have to be able to uncheck. So then you can name it. Maybe I name this check at or uncheck at, or either complete at or incomplete at. Okay? So in the future, we have more commands, such as if you do list, if grandma say this, now you can't call grandma index, you call grandma answer or something. And then if grandma say add, then you have to say, hey, then what is your let's just do it right now. What if grandma type this instead of grandma type like buy milk, and then you can just check like, oh, the first character is plus, so I'm gonna add it, right? Or grandma can type add, and then you're like, oh, grandma say add. Okay, then you print it again. So what do you want to add, grandma? Right? You can prompt twice, more than once. The first prompt is what action do you want to do? Second prompt is what extra input. If grandma say add, you say what is the item to add? Buy milk. If grandma say complete, you say what is item to complete? Index 1. If grandma say remove, what is the item to remove? It means delete it, right? 5. Maybe if grandma say exit, then it will be exit. So this is your weekend homework. This afternoon you're still working on this a little bit more. But the project structure is like this, right? You will have an assignment file, and in the to-do folder, that's a to-do app. In there, you start to type, this is a very simple markdown of a to-do. And then you start, implementing your to-do control. It's a class. You see, I don't do anything yet, but some of you may write a more advanced program that can initialize with the file name, and then you can decide to read from today.md, this month.md, different MD, or like mark.md, stand.md. What to-do list do you want to display? My to-do or your to-do. It can get a lot more interesting. But for now, you can read from just one file and learn how to, write these guys. Item is really simple, right? But you see, list takes care of managing items. Nothing else. And printing out. And to-do takes care of talking to the users. Okay, I will share some of the code, but because you have to write this, so I cannot share the whole thing. Okay, I think we can do the lunch break.